Um, hey guys, it's Kai, or XI11, whatever. But I wanted to talk about the songs in this album and what the album meant itself. So, the first thing is, I guess, the album, the concept. Um, the album itself is called Unraveled. Um, it's about how a lot of your efforts or um, kind of like I guess like you work really hard and then things kind of just fall apart. Um, and it's the story of kind of just dealing with that, dealing with like a sort of failure. Um, and I guess how that would feel, you know. Um, the first song is called "Devil of the Light." Um, and it's a kind of rock instrumental. Uh, and I think basically what it's saying is, when there's light, there has to be darkness, and you can't forget about this darkness, about this devil in the light, and you have to kind of make peace with your flaws, even if you're really great, which of course you are, but you have to remember that your flaws are okay if they come out to show, and that it's okay to make mistakes. Like, I mean, in like an environment like ours or like mine, I think it's important that we make sure not to let, like, I guess, competition ruin us, and to kind of be okay with how things go, and be okay with any troubles that come, things like that. The second track is called Like Soldiers. Like Soldiers is kind of the next step in the story where you really have to move on. You have to just keep going, even if something happens. Uh, like Soldiers is, I guess, like a kind of synthy pop song, but I mean, that was actually like the one song that took me the longest time in this album. It took me like 2 or 3 months to kind of get all of the instrumentals to work with each other, or to get my samples like perfectly modified, and things like that. And the third track is called Tell Me, and Tell Me is a ballad, and it's kind of saying, um, uh, like, what's wrong, or it's kind of questioning, like, if everything is going so right, what's wrong? And I think it's important that you recognize that even when everything is going right, I mean, you might feel down, and that's fine. And I think sometimes when you have friendships or relationships that seem to be going great but aren't really going great, and you wonder, like, what's wrong? How am I supposed to fix this? Like, I think that's what the song is about. And I guess, yeah, it's one of the more selfish songs that I have, but it's a ballad that I worked on for a while, and it turned out okay. But yeah, that's the third song. The fourth song is called Blunder. Blunder is a hip hop kind of, more how do I say this? I guess like gloomy track. It's like something like looming over you, like it's a dark track. But this was actually one of my favorites out of the album. I mean, all of them are my favorite, but Blunder was a kind of a different song. I hadn't done something like this before. And the production went well, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's just that the vocal processing wasn't great. But as for the meaning of the song, I have I have two verses of rap and then a kind of singing chorus. But it's kind of about, making mistakes. That's why it's called Blender. But yeah, making mistakes, and then how I deal with it, or how we're supposed to deal with it. And how it seems like, like sometimes the people who are, or like I hurt the people who are closest to me the most. And I don't know what that means, but it's just something that I think about sometimes. And the song's really about like the ability to make it through, and just like go to sleep every night and wake up every morning, and just yeah. So that's Blunder. The fifth song is called Together. Together is a love song that I actually wrote for someone who I'm not with anymore. But it was also something different. I'm not really good with like love and love songs, but this one is kind of a really like swingy song where it's pretty catchy as well. And I guess it's kind of it's just about love, young love. And yeah, it's about, giving people time. And yeah. The sixth song is called Sixth Carol, both because it's the sixth track and because it's written in 6/4 meter. And I modeled it to be like a carol, like a Christmas carol, but in the end it turned out as more of a, I don't know how to describe this one, but it's kind of about how I feel like I can't live up to other people's expectations, and how a lot of human relationships are like evanescent. They come and go, people come and go, and in the end, like what really matters to me is that I have a lengthy and meaningful relationship with someone, but sometimes that's not the case. And I guess that's what this song is about. Like, when like in the beginning I'd be like, hey, I can do this and that for you, and I can make you feel happy and feel like safe and secure, and Um, in the end, it's kind of like, oh, I don't think I can give you what you need, so I don't think you should, be friends with me anymore. And I guess that's the story of this song. Um, it's really long. Um, it was, I don't know, when I wrote it, I imagined it to be like a 4-minute song, and then it ended up being 8 or 9, and so I ended up cutting out 2 of the choruses and splitting things up so that it was only 6 minutes, which also makes sense with the title. The 7th song is called Music Box Lullaby. I think this one is a much more artistic and abstract song. I think it's a really open-ended one. Like the ending is just like, tell me how to say, and then it just stops, and there's no explanation. There's nothing really. And I think the song is really talking about kind of the triviality of my efforts sometimes, because sometimes I might do some things perfectly and then some things not, but it seems like I have to do everything perfectly in order to get or like to reach my goals. And I think that's what a fox without its jaws of teeth. There's a fox, but it doesn't have teeth, so it can't really survive well. And I look to break the curses with the mist of birds and thawing, but all I've done is help the devil sing. I think that's one of the lines that kind of outlines the entire song as a whole, where I give it my best, but it seems to have like a countering effect. It's like the more you try, the worse it becomes. I think that's what this song means. It's really short. It's less than 2 minutes. But it's, I think I like the melody and I like the kind of flow of it. And it fits as an interlude for this album. So yeah, that's the 7th track. The 8th track is called Again. Again is a song that kind of talks about, how it seems like we're going through the same thing over and over sometimes. Like Groundhog's Day, living the same day over and over and over again. Every day we wake up, we go to school, or at least for me, I'm a student, I go to school, and then I work and work, and it's the same when I go to college, and it'll be the same after that too, I think. And this is kind of about trying to find joy in like a human relationship when it seems like it's just the same thing over and over again, and it's not getting better, it's not getting worse, or maybe it's getting worse, I don't know. But that's kind of what this rap ballad is about. I try to have like one rap ballad in each album, but I think this one had like 2, but that's fine. This one has this rap has a lot more, I guess, of a melodious kind of component to it, because while I'm rapping, it's like also kind of singing, but mostly rap. That's this song. The 9th track, It's Not What It Seems, is kind of, it's about how sometimes things are not what they seem. people are not what they seem. Um, I mean, there are people who might be struggling with different things, and you never know. Um, and I think this song is really about perspective, your perspective on life as you grow. Sometimes, something might seem like the entire world to you, but maybe it's not. Maybe that's just like like a cognitive distortion. But I think even though that's like the message of the song is really kind of bouncy. It's a happy song. It's a hip hop song. It's inspired by John Bellion, his style of music, his style of rap, and there's a short rap verse at the end, but otherwise it's pretty cool. Yeah. So I think the song, it's not what it seems, is about priorities, perspective. What I think it's important that we put first things first, in order to be productive and functional. And I think that's what the song's about. The 10th track, Textbook Life, is about how I think the competition for kids these days is getting more and more intense. When I was younger, I don't know. I think I'm kind of stuck between, the old, like 90s, traditional childhood generation and the digital generation. I'm totally stuck in between, and I have memories of when I was a child, and I'd have all this time to play outside with my neighbors. It's like drawing with chalk, and sometimes I walk around and I never see chalk on the sidewalks anymore. Nobody's drawing on their driveways. It's I think I don't know if it's because we don't have time, or if it's just like people are more drawn to their cell phones, to their devices. But yeah, this song is just about the competition that I felt, and how I deal with it, and I feel like I'm not as affected by it as a lot of my friends are. And I think, I don't know, it might make them angry sometimes, and it's just that, we're all trying to get into a college that we like, a college that our parents like, and everything's about studying, schoolwork, productivity. It's like a lot of the kids aren't really living a high school life. So that's what this song's about. The song's about kind of breaking out of this bubble, or like encouraging other people to break out of this bubble. Like just roll with whatever, If you get a bad grade, I think, of course, it's not good. But I mean, you can't let that dictate your entire life. And I think that's what this song's about. The 11th track, Rave. I did this one with my best friend. And we worked together for a month or so on this one. He came over and we wrote the lyrics together. And we sang it, and then yeah, it's out there now. It's the title track called Rave, which is actually in the name of the album. So that was actually a suggestion of one of my other good friends. Um, and I think it's really cool. But this song is kind of about is kind of a clash between two different perspectives on um, kind of a misfortune. Like, one perspective is like, I'm gonna dwell on this. This is going to be my life from now on. I'm gonna be sad about it. And then this other perspective is like, let's move on. Um, let's be happy and everything. And I think it also, I guess, matches our personalities really well. Because I think I'm more of a, reflective, and I think it's just that even though we've been best friends for a long time, I don't know, 5, 6 years, I think we've grown differently. He's the kind of guy who's, always smiling, and it's kind of scary, like, to see him sad or feeling bad, because it's just not that often. And for me, it's like I don't know, I think differently than he does. And I think making that into a song was meaningful for both of us, and also for anyone who listens, because it's important that you can like kind of understand both sides, where one side is like, you have to reflect. I mean, if you do something wrong, if you make a mistake, you can't just be like, oh, I don't care, let's move on. Like, you have to reflect. That's only right, that's only human. But at the same time, you have to move on at some point, and I think that's the meaning of the song, and that's the purpose of us writing the song. And it was really great. And yeah. The 12th song is called Making It to You. This was chronologically the first song that I wrote after finishing my last album. And this one's about, how I might have been good before, but now I might not be as good. I think the thing with a lot of, I guess, people, or even like products, like the way that we see them is like, when they're new, like when you get them, like a phone, a new computer, it's like, whoa, this thing's so good, like, I love it. And then after like 4 or 5 years, it's like, I think I want a new one. This one sucks. And I think that's what this song's about. Trying to escape that kind of natural progression of perspective, and trying to make things up, and this is a rock ballad. I was originally gonna do it by myself. It was kind of, I guess, the chorus was supposed to just be, and now I'm making it to you, like, over and over and over again. But what happened was, one of my friends, I thought, like, maybe it would be cool to do this song with one of my friends. And I've never, I have, but it never, like, it didn't really happen. But I thought it would be cool to kind of work with a female voice on top of my own, and I think it fits really well. She's a really good singer, and she gave me a lot of ideas for the chorus. She doesn't have really that much experience with music, but other than playing piano until she was 12. But she wrote well, and she sings well, and um, I'm really excited for this one because I think the the music, how it flows, how it comes together, it's all just really cool. And it's something that I'm used to making, like a kind of rock ballad. I think I've done a lot of those before with, Pantophobia, with a lot of my songs in the second album. Yeah. The 13th track is called I Wish You Knew. It's a really long one. It just has like a lot of different parts. I kind of mashed like 6 songs into one. I mashed like 6 different melodies, 6 different keys. It's part of that kind of series of songs in each album where I would kind of like revolve, or not really revolve, but like keep, like, it's like always evolving. It's a song where the key is always switching. It starts with a really quick rap, and then it goes to kind of like a synth pop, and then it goes to a really soft mellow ballad, and then it kind of builds up into a kind of more dramatic thing, and then it goes to rock, and it's kind of like blending genres, and just like playing with music, playing with languages too. There are 3 languages in this song, but there are a lot of key switches, tempo changes, the fastest rap I've ever done, and yeah, that's the 13th song. It's kind of like, if I had to compare it to something, it would be like Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, where it has like different songs in the one song, and I think that's really cool, and that's what I'm doing with this song. The last song in this album is called I'll Pretend. It's another kind of rap ballad. I think it works as an outro because it kind of sums up the things that I've been talking about throughout the album, with a fictional story about, I guess, 2 boys who are forced apart, and then suddenly, like the speaker of the song feels like his friend is imaginary, and when he goes back to visit, like, his friend really is like imaginary. And I think it's a really cool song where there's this story, there's this kind of magical element to it, but at the same time it applies to a lot of human relationships. Like if you go apart, if you grow apart, like, or even not just like mentally or metaphorically apart, but like physically apart. If you're across the country from someone for a long time, and the only contact you have with them is online, there's no physical being, doesn't it kind of feel like sometimes it's like not real anymore? Or I think that's the kind of feeling that I wanted to express with this song. And yeah, it's also one of my favorites. And that is the end of the album. There's 6 extra tracks. The first one, Where Did the Time Go, is a Chinese song that I dedicated to my parents, my family. The second one is called 4 O'Clock. It's a cover of a Korean song. The third one is called One More Light, cover for Linkin Park. dedicated as like a tribute to Chester. The 18th song, or not the 18th, but I mean the 4th extra track, it's a mashup of Closer and Taken by Sleep. So Closer by Chainsmokers and Taken by Sleep by Tyler Joseph from 21 Pilots. The 5th extra track is called Haze. It was supposed to be an EP, like a part of an EP, but I ended up kind of not doing the EP. So it's just an extra track here. The 6th and the last song is called For You. Similar to Together, but kind of more regal, if you would, more noble. And yeah, that's the end of the album. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you understand a little bit more about what the meaning is, what the purpose of me writing these things was. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.